Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave. Waking up for a little bit of an earlier Friday morning over here from Helsinki, Finland. As always, I would like to wish you the best of the best and the happiest of the happiest on this lovely little Friday morning, because we got a lot to talk about on the short and medium term timeframes. Bitcoin turning back down again, putting in another lower high, perhaps even along the same ride. And I did not get enough sleep last night, so I'm gonna make all sorts of tongue mistakes today. I do apologize in advance, but we'll see how this one goes. Anyways, looking at the Krown Trading application over here, which can be found at app.crowntrading.net. We do see that Bitcoin dominance still kind of hanging in the low, below that 63% marker, which I do want to keep an eye on the actual Bitcoin dominance chart today and see what that's looking like, especially with Bitcoin heading down at the same time. Although it does look like dominance has gone up just a slight tick there. Anyways, fear and greed index heading down about 3 points from yesterday. And open interest still above the 2 billion marker, but we have yet to see a break of the high-term timeframe range. The high-term timeframe range at this point in time is pretty much unchanged over the last couple weeks. Still about 8,900 to the downside resolution and 9,900 to the upside resolution. So we'll get into that in just a second, but I still want to see what the open interest reads if and when we do, but also when we do see a break from that high-term timeframe range. And I think with that said, it's time to get into the actual price action analysis right here. Oh, by the way, Morinfall just uploaded the newest video in the Jewel channel. If you want to check that out, I have a link in the description below. So yeah, if it's there for you to watch if you would so desire. Anyways, looking at Bitcoin on the daily, yes, we did break below the 21 exponential moving average yesterday. Got a negative slope on both the 10 symbol and the 21, and more importantly, put in a lower high all on the same tick. We did take out the low side, or sorry, the short-term time frame range, which was a closure below 9,300-ish region. And this was all coming off the backs of the 4-hour bearish divergence, regular bearish divergence that we're looking at right on over here. Jesus Christ, man, my speech is fucked today. Anyways, we were looking for a retest back down in 9,300 or 9,250-ish region. We got that and exceeded that, and more importantly, once that happened, the blue box was destroyed, retested in the later morning hours, and now continuation of the downside targets, which I have right around about 9,050 to 9,100-ish region. Now Bitcoin's back into the range of shit and piss, and we're all here once again. Welcome to the range of death, the range of fucking death and decay. It's almost as if nothing's changed since the last week of June. My God, man, my God. Anyways, so basically the same thing as what we've been looking at from now the last couple weeks, going back to later June. Looking for the range to once again emerge between about 9,250-ish region all the way down to about 8,900 on a 4-hour dollar closure. However, I do believe since we are coming into some higher term time frame closures in just the next few days, we should be using that as it's a little bit more documentable. Looking at the daily right here, Cyan 89 exponential moving average has been thus far governing the lows on a wick basis, right around upper 8900s, 8975. It looks like. So any sort of a closure, especially below the Cyan 89 exponential moving average, would be a change of behavior on that degree. But remember, at the end of the day, it's until we actually fully have a breakage of now the high term time frame range, you don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, or at least I would not like to. Of course, everyone's free to do whatever they want to do. This is never and is the furthest thing away from financial advice. It would never be financial advice or misconstrued as such. But I would say that we're back in the range of patience, if you want to say that. So, funnily enough, the option sellers, they've been the one who have been having the good times for the last few weeks. Option buyers getting fucked each and every way. Anyways, still looking at 8,900 for that downside resolution, as I did say. And while it would technically imply a measure move all the way down to about 7,500, marking this off as kind of like a Wyckoff distribution cycle, I would still be looking for bounces along the way, with particular interest right around 8,700 low right here, 8,550 low right here, then the 382 at around 8,150. Also historical horizontal breakouts and breakdowns of note from early March, going all the way from about 8,100 to 4,400 right here, and then to the upside from, well, the same area, 8,100 to 10,000. So overall, it's still kind of like a slow trudge in the mud. And while Bitcoin is breaking down here and did put in in another lower high and is looking, by all intents and purposes, relatively weak to the general markets, which does not imply good things. I'd still wait for an actual confirmation of that break to the downside before getting super bearish or anything like that, just because, well, at the end of the day, people who have been trading for both the upside and the downside, the big move, like the big bad move, have been more or less frustrated. I mean, Bitcoin's been range bound for months, which is kind of par for the course. I mean, there was a really great question in the program Discord the other day asking about Krown. Have we ever seen anything like this on Bitcoin before? And yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen, this is typically the way that Bitcoin changes or plays out. It's big consolidations in kind of 3-month segments where volatility gets absolutely crushed. Volume comes down to a little small pitter patter. And then we either have a massive continuation drive or a massive reversal, of which the last few have actually been reversals. On this one right here, we do see a nice descending triangle high being put in, and then boom, massive move down. Again, a 2.5 to 3 month consolidation right here. Early 2019 on the other side, nice ascending triangle coming off the lows, and then boom, massive move up, massive descending triangle right here for a continuation drive to the downside. So it's not always a reversal. To a smaller extent in the mid-teens here in late 2017 as well. And then before that, we have to go back to kind of the reversal box, if you want to call it that, back in 2015. Not really a specific word for that, although technically you can say it's a rectangle, I suppose, if you want to get like super specific. But then of course, another few month consolidation right here on this reversal, another few month consolidation right here on this reversal, and same thing right here, going all the way back to the genesis. So realistically, yes, this is pretty much par for the course on Bitcoin. When it is setting up for big bad moves, usually they do resolve in reversals, but not always. And I don't think that it's appropriate to say that or suggest that they would always be a reversal. But we should be keeping an eye back on this once again, because there's been a couple things that have been keeping me healthily in check by not getting too bullish and also not getting too bearish. This would be the one that helps keep me not getting too bullish, and that is the weekly Stokes right here, which will confirm below the critical point on this weekly close with any sort of a close here or lower. Which, why is that significant? Well, anytime that we do see a similar read to this, we do see, major reversals coming from the top side. Last one of note was July 2019, also one of those 3-month long consolidations right here, getting ready for the move from about 10,300 all the way down to 6,400 right here, 40.5% move, and about another half year later, continuation down for probably another 50%. Before that, we have to go back to 2020 right here. But we have several examples right here, and each and every time that this signature happens, those are your major tops being put in. This one giving you a 68% pullback, if you want to call it that, just a pullback, and I wouldn't necessarily say that it always gives that amount, but again, going after similar signatures than that we've seen in the past prior bull markets. You already know I'm going with this one right now. 30% down on this one, another 40% down on this one, another 41% down on this one, another 34% down on this one. You get where I'm going with that. Probably don't need to do it all over again. And realistically, just kind of playing around with numbers here. If we were to shave off, say 30%, where that put Bitcoin at, just playing around with numbers. Low 7,000s. What about 40%? Oh, it's kitchen time. Kitchen, motherfuckers. Get ready for some goddamn clanging and clacking of the plates. Hey, how about no? 40% puts us back down around the 200 simple and 200 exponential average, and I'm sure that if we throw on, as we have been doing, our fibs over here, we can see that yes, it does match up with some pretty massive fibs. 0.5 coming down around the low 7,000s, 786 coming around the 200 simple and 200 exponential average. Just something to keep an eye on if Bitcoin were to break down. But remember, this is all hearsay until Bitcoin actually fully and formally breaks below 8,900, as that's been the area of fuckery for the last, for the last couple of months now, really. So at the end of the day, what do bears have? They have trend here. They have lower highs in place, and now the kitchen's wrecked. You would think it's a joke. You would. But it's not. And this is all coming along the side of I believe momentum also is turning down all the way up to a 12-hour. Yes, indeed they are. 12-hour Stokes taking a pretty abrupt turn to the downside, and I would say that looks like Bitcoin does want to hit another wick down, probably over the weekend, down to around 8,900ish region. Test that 200 exponential moving average again. I don't think that it will have the momentum to break over the weekend, but likely does set it up for a potential disaster coming into early next week. But it's, realistically, I would still be looking at the strength in traditional markets as, something to kind of offset the weakness that I see in Bitcoin. If I'm just looking at Bitcoin, I do think that it overall is weak, and it does come back down and test down to like 8,900ish region. But if I'm going to be, not India, but that's actually so crazy. The numbers are so similar that it's very easy to get confused. Anyways, if we do see the market close on highs, and talking specifically about Nasdaq futures right here. Coming into the weekend, then, I think that Bitcoin's going to break down on the next drive to 8,900? Probably not. No, probably puts in another bounce, maybe even reverses back up and holds the range of fucking death and decay from 8,900 to 9,900 for the next 20 years. Hey, all of the people calling for 100,000, 200,000 red dot motherfuckers to 1 billion kajillion million. What are you going to do if Bitcoin just goes sideways here for the next year, 2 years? 20 years? No, probably not 20 years, but don't underestimate the market's ability to bore you to absolute fucking death. And meanwhile, the joke is on me, because traditional markets have been making this easy as fuck, making Robinhood traders look like goddamn geniuses for months upon months now. And what am I doing? I'm watching Bitcoin. I'm watching fucking Bitcoin. Jesus Christ. Anyways, looking at this right here, I actually still do like NAS futures. Dip was bought yesterday, puts in a higher low on the lower time frames. Daily keeps on chugging along, makes new all-time highs to end the day, and the weekly setting up for quite a nice closure. Now, we did say yesterday that it was likely to come back down to about 10,500-ish region, or sorry, 10,500, or sorry, no, I said 10,600. We got down to 10,550, so a little bit off on that, but overall the reaction is the same, and going to be giving it a very good chance to actually have a good weekly close. Now, I would get bearish on this. Bearish is the wrong term. I would be looking for a big pullback though, if and only if today's daily trades below yesterday's low or closes somewhere down below 10,600. If that happens, then yeah, next week I'd potentially be looking for a reversal coming into Monday. But with the way that the weekly is kind of shaping up right here, if it closes anywhere above 10,650, I'm looking for new all-time highs to continue into next week and probably beyond. Are there going to be pullbacks on short-term timeframes? Yeah, absolutely. Healthy market typically will do such things, but overall, I'd be looking higher on the higher-term timeframes. It looks good. E-mini futures for SPY. What are we looking at here? Doesn't look as strong, obviously. Not making new all-time highs alongside strength in Nasdaq. Does look like it wants some short-term downside as well. Maybe back down to the 21 here, somewhere around 3105 region. On a weekly, I'd really want to see the weekly. I think that we had the easy trades in this one coming into the early times in this week. We did say that it was going to continue back up to that 320-ish region. Actually got stopped just a little bit before there, so fair enough. But right now, I'd really just be waiting for the weekly closure. And I do think that short term probably brings it back down to 310-ish region, something like that. And then we'll wait for direction from the from NAS futures on how they close this weekly out. Looking at Microsoft, new all-time highs, beget new all-time highs. Weekly looking good, daily looking toppy. However, that is a little bit of a reversal-ish type dildo, but not really on heavy volume. No follow through just yet. Same sort of thing here that I have to say on Nasdaq, which of course is probably a lot driven by some like Microsoft. If we come back down below yesterday's low at 211.5, yeah, I would be looking for extension all the way down to 203.5 region. Probably another bounce there. Apple, same chart, same fucking chart. Tesla's strong. Tesla's strong. But same sort of synopsis as well. They all move together. Let's go check out some Forex. I've actually been really enjoying looking at that recently. Let's look at yen dollar. We said up yesterday, and I would still be looking up today, and I still think not 94 target. Pound dollar down. I'd be looking for. We did hit our upside target yesterday. 127, right on the 200 simple. Love it. Do you think it comes back down to 1.25? Swiss franc US dollar coming down to 105.89. Looks a little bit medium term topping. Pound yen shitcoin coming down as well. Did hit the 200 exponential moving average, our target right there. This one's a strange one. I don't really know what to think after that, though. I would wait for the weekly close here. I don't think I have a good read on this one after that. No. Fucking bizarre. I mean, obviously it's a very shitty chart, but big ranges here. I mean, it can play out this descending triangle for a long time. Something like this. This has a long time to fill out. And yes, overall would be bearish, but where's the next? I don't think I have a good read on that. Let's go look at gold. Still above 1800. Let's see how the daily is shaping up right now. Looks a little bit short-term choppy as well. Did clear something that I have up there. What's that coming in from? Oh, that's the weekly. Okay, cool. I suppose just in time for the weekly closure. Any sort of a closure on a weekly above 1800, and I'd be looking for new highs coming into next week as well. However, short term, it does look like it wants to take a little bit of a tumble down to 1785 region. Euro dollar putting another high, as we spoke about, at the 200 simple. Love it. Well, don't necessarily love it, because I do think that it actually is. It ends up putting in a nice high here overall, which makes me want to look at Dixie. Where's my Dixies? My Dixies. There they are, bouncing off the 200 simple again. Ugly in the short term, yes. However, long term, I still do like this. So, I mean, we're talking like years and years out, perhaps. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance as well. See if there's anything obvious there. Probably bounces here. Very likely bounce here back up to around 65%. But I'm not necessarily certain what I'd make of it for like a more medium or long term play. I do feel quite strongly about being short term, looking for some upside here. So that means that if I'm going to be looking at altcoins versus Bitcoin parent, I should be looking for most of them to have a pullback. So let's go pick on Cardano, one of the better actors as of the last couple months, and let's see what the daily is looking like. Looks like a pullback to me. Looking like a pullback. Takes out yesterday's low, and I target a move down to 1150-ish region. Momentum also is turning down at the same time. Not good. Historic volatility percentile, red as a devil's pee-pee hole. And do we have bearish divergence? No, actually no. Probably on a 12-hour, though. No, actually not there as well. All right, well, fair enough. Actually, yes, we do have some, but that's pretty far away, so... Probably tries another move back up to like 1400, but overall I think that this one's coming down a little bit lower before it gives another try to the upside. Weekly can close pretty strongly here though. Any sort of a closure here or higher looks good, but does leave a nice range down to about 1130-ish region coming into next week. Anyways, back on to Bitcoin. All right, let's go check out. We didn't even look at the low term time frame momentum oscillators. 4-hour Stokes coming way down there right now, just working their way to into the bearish control. Now I really do sound like a fucking weatherman. Jesus Christ. Coming down to the bearish control. Jesus, shut up, Krown. Shut the fuck up. It's like I have to call out myself because these aren't live anymore, so no one's there to call me out. It's great. I can have a one-sided conversation for the rest of my life. 3 hours, same thing. 2 hour, what are we looking at here? Same thing, actually coming from the same area as well. In hourly, actually same thing, all coming from the same areas. So let's see, what would be needed to close above in order to get momentum pointed back up north on the shorter term time frames? Hourly shows 9150. Kind of where we are right now. Bi-hourly shows 9180. Triple hourly shows 9269. And 4 hour shows 9350. So probably a short-term bounce here, but overall, as long as Bitcoin's below 90 or 9250 now, it's pressure to the downside once again. It's the same shit as what we've been looking at for the last few weeks. Same sort of thing. Now the next sort of fuckery area is this guy right here. Could it be that Bitcoin is just doing something like this? I mean, yeah, absolutely, it could be something like this, making a nice descending triangle in the more immediate structure. Yeah, you could make the argument for that. But again, at the end of the day, it's a game of, until I actually see this area broken or this area broken, it's just a game, it's a game of fucking hearsay. Like this is mental masturbation. It's a cool thing to talk about. It might make you look smart and cool at like a lame party, but like Who the fuck is talking about TA at a party? Jesus Christ, man. But you know, until Bitcoin actually breaks, you know, the critical levels, it's just a range of fuckery. Just a range of fuckery. And we are, well, as a trader, the opportunity cost of not looking out of the markets right now is pretty fucking massive. You know, not to say that Bitcoin's not never going to move. I mean, this is still very much in our face right here. And by the way, the moving average just got a positive slope on the historical volatility percentile on the daily. So to be fair, whenever we do get a positive slope on that coming from this low of a read, typically does result in expansion, like you see right here, like you see right here, like you see, oh, big one right here, actually, big bad one right there. Like, and same thing over here as well on this kind of come up. So, you know, very dependable, but you know, we're looking at high term timeframes right now. So offers up a wide berth of time. Anyways, let's go look at the 2-day. What's 2-day looking like? 2 days looking like another local high as well. 2-day 200 simple, nice, you know, nice governor for lows thus far at 8,900 as well. I like the confluence there with you know, with that being a nice actionable point also on the daily too, for the 89. Daily, or sorry, 3-day right here. Is this one ending tonight? Yeah, it is ending tonight actually at 8 p.m. Eastern time. I don't really have too much to make off of this though. Yeah, to me, it's just a line. It's just straight. I mean, this is the real price of Bitcoin. It seems that everyone agrees that Bitcoin should be worth about, you know, 9150. It sounds good too. I mean, this is, you know, not really used for anything, so we should be grateful that 9150 makes sense. But that's it, man. Everyone agrees. All right, do you agree that Bitcoin should be worth 9150? I agree. All right, if we all disagree, then we can stop this moving house of cards and move on to greener pastures. All right. Let's go check out CME's. Going to be closing for the week later tonight at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Weekly Stokes very likely to come down here. Weekly looking very nasty right here. If it closes like this is going to look like a breakdown here on a weekly. Let's go check out some of the secondary things that I will sometimes look at. You know, I still get brought back to this chart right here, the weekly MACDs. MACDs nuts. Hidden bearish divergence, very, very visibly apparent, and we are certainly loosening the grips of the MACD strength right there, or sorry, the histogram strength right there. So I would, what I'm essentially saying is that I expect this to take another down tick, and these two to converge on each other, loosening its grip, which would suggest that yes, that hidden bearish divergence is likely to play out, and if that's likely to play out, then the 20 simple on the weekly is well, it's a legitimate target, and that's right alongside the. Well, of course, alongside because it's quite literally 27 moving average on the Bollinger Bands. Anyways, if we go down to a daily, I do believe, yeah, we're actually back below the median Bollinger Band once again. Can't really make too much out of that, you know, from a BBWs getting extremely low here. I mean, once, twice, 3, 4 times in Bitcoin's history we've been lower than this, maybe 4 or 5 times. I mean, handful of times. Daily MACD looks a little bit better. Not so much. Not so much. Even your Stoke RSI. I'm not a fan of this indicator, but I do like to look at it every once in a while just to keep tabs on it. And looks like it's in the process of turning down. So going back to our regular charts, and let's go back to our lower term time frame ranges. Let's plot them out a little bit. Okay, so using the blue boxes of fucking death and decay here, I didn't even really speak about the short term range. Okay, so we're about 23 minutes into a video, and I'm just getting to the short term ranges. Great. Good one, Krown. 9250 to 9300 the upside. I do think that 9250 probably gets it on a 2-hour or 4-hour closure. If Bitcoin can close above there, I look forward to putting another attempt back up towards 9400 high yesterday. That's not helpful though. Ranges are too tight here. As long as Bitcoin's riding this, you know, riding the lower highs, it's hard to be looking for reversal even on a low time frame like this. you know, what I'd feel more confident saying, or sorry, what I'd feel more healthy saying is that as long as Bitcoin's below 9250 right here, using this as kind of like a nice pivot point, I would be looking for Bitcoin to ultimately test down a wick somewhere back down in this liquid zone right here, anywhere between 8,900 and 9,000. Do I think that it has momentum to break, especially with the weekend looming overhead? Probably not, no. But coming into next week, you know, if the picture looks something like this, where we're still underneath 9250, well, starts to look more and more dangerous. Other than that, you know, if it does retake 9250 to the upside, I don't really have like a specific call to be made on that, to be honest with you. You know, it's hard to like target something that would imply a higher high above our last one at 9,400 on a 4-hour closing basis, when the trend has been down, you know, for the last, well, going all the way back to early June. So a little bit over a month now, about a month and a half, in fact. So overall, you know, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to probably put in another test down here. If Bitcoin actually breaks 8,900, you know, closes especially a 12-hour or a daily below 8,900, then we can really start to actually, or at least not maybe we, but certainly I can start to angle my trading candidates, you know, down towards these more long-term targets down here. But for right now, you know, it just seems to be more or less anemic. You know, it's a little bit. It is a little bit humbling. You know, it is a little bit humbling to see Bitcoin really not take advantage of the strength in regular markets right now. I mean, you know, obviously it's had a pretty good run, but if Bitcoin really had a chance to shine, I mean, right now would be it. I mean, both from a fundamental perspective and also a technical perspective, it's had plenty of chances. It keeps on, you know, the more hesitation here does really make you start to think. Let's go check out on Mr. Butyrol. Mr. Butyrol showing, yeah, all the way back down to the 10 simple. I don't believe I had any sort of a set target or anything like this on this asset yesterday. What I can say though is this now, seeing as we had the resolution from this, did print a higher high, yes, but obviously coming back down, we're going to get a little bit of a swing failure here. The key point is on this next one is, does it hold the 21 or not? And the 21's at 234, basically the wick low of what we have today. As long as it's above there, I do look for it to just get reaccumulated and actually work its way upwards and onwards, because technically this is, well, it would be an uptrend with that in mind. That would imply that today's daily dodo does need to close above about 242.5, we'll call it, to keep the hopes alive of the bull flag measure move pointed all the way north towards 285 high coming in from early February. Now, assuming that doesn't get met, or assuming more importantly that it actually does close below this horizontal right here, essentially consistent with the 10 simple and the 21 exponential average all alike, I would look for another move back down to the 55, all the way down to about 226.5 region. And then that destroys this whole structure, makes this look like a swing failure, and this is no longer a bull flag, and that measure move is no longer viable if that were to happen, and this starts to look like one massive fake out, getting ready for a move back down to 185. Have a nice weekend, Vitalik. What about Litecoin? Wow, still holding the same downtrend that it's been holding ever since late April. Oh, is that a descending triangle on the lows? Huh. Must be bullish. Must be bullish. Let's go take a look at XRP. XRP weekly death cross coming. XRP weekly death cross coming, sir. What's going on over here? Let's see. Well, whatever. Hey, what the fuck was that? Damn it. All right. Just talking to myself right now. But yeah, death cross coming in on the weekly. As long as it's below the 21 on the weekly, overall, very, 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 very nasty. Ah, that's what's going on over there. Now I realize what's up. Okay. All right, let's go through a few of them. I'm curious what we can find around the sphere. Stellar is one that a lot of people like, right? Actually, not looking all that bad. Looking like a reversal here. In fact, probably gets continuation towards 11.5 cent. Not bad. EOS, what's EOS doing? EOS gets a BNB. What are you doing? Actually, not that bad. Could pull through. Oh, is that another long-term descending triangle? Let's see the Bitcoin pairing. Long-term downtrend. That's bullish. That's bullish. Litecoin. Litecoin actually looks like a short-term reversal. Put in a higher low potentially right there. Perhaps targeting somewhere around 535. Buterol Bitcoin looks good actually as well. I'd still be targeting 0.028. Looks good. Actually legitimately looks good. And back onto Bitcoin. So it is a little bit strange though. We do see bifurcation in the altcoin market, I suppose. You know, some alts obviously don't look good or are not using this opportunity to keep pace with the rest of the market, and then some using it to fucking spades. Let's go check out Link though. Link is another one that I do want to keep tabs on just because it does have a nice history of hit the measure move to the nice T, 66,400 satoshis. Do you think that is probably in for a short-term consolidation here, coming back down, maybe all the way back down to like 60, a little bit below 62,000 satoshis. But as long as it's above the breakout point, not even the breakout point, we could actually move this up quite a bit. As long as it's above about 57,000 satoshis, I'll just be looking for it to come back down here and formulate something new, and then we'll talk about drives higher after that. But for now, short-term downside, well, sideways and down, maybe more accurately said. Moi. I think that covers just about everything. All right, let me go check this out. All right, we're 30 minutes into this video. I forgot to even talk about my sale. God damn it. Oh well, you already know. If you've been in this video for this long, you already know. Let's go look at probabilities with these ranges. So what I'll do now is I'll go to the lower term timeframes here. I'm going to use 250 to the upside and 8,900 to the downside. Keep in mind that the downside now is once again correlated with a long-term resolution. The upside is only correlated with short and medium term. And I shouldn't even say medium term, probably just short term, because medium term would probably imply a move back up here. Another, that's $300, $400 move back up to 9,600. But it's hard. It would be hard to target that if Bitcoin did get back above 9,250, because that's actually above our last prior high, which Bitcoin hasn't been able to take that area out for, well, going back a little bit more than a month now. So this trend is strengthening. Anyways, so let's go check out our probabilities over here, and let's see. We'll do 9,250 to the upside, and downside I'm gonna use 8,900. Okay, and we'll do this on current bars. By the way, the futures are actually squeezing down once again. Just of note. Okay, upside target probability, again, very short-term move, 47%, so actually quite likely. Below target probability, 21.29%. This is all on a daily closure. Let's go look at a 12-hour closure. 12-hour closure showing 48% to the upside, 12.5% to the downside. That's actually very interesting. But again, the rings are squeezing quite aggressively to the downside. And also, Bali and Pig's moms calling the lack of momentum, maybe not lack of momentum, but the turning momentum on the 12-hour right here, 8th of July. So actually right there on the last high. So actually this one has gotten it maybe the best out of anything else. And on top of that, printing hidden bearish divergence along the same read as well from our $9,700 high right here. So I do like that. On the daily as well, obviously waning here too. The strength is getting curtailed quite a bit, and we have significant hidden bearish divergence between $9,700 high and what we just put in at 94, which is very interesting because when you are looking, when you are making correlations between different time frames, right? You would expect that the higher term time frame would be harder to get, as much or as dramatic divergence as a lower time frame. But in this case, the daily has significantly more compared to the 12-hour. The 12-hour is just barely. And I'm curious how this holds up on spot price action how this holds up on some of our other tools, just like regular RSI. And 12-hour RSI does have hidden bearish divergence in play as well. So fair enough. Does it get brought down to the low side of the range, 9,000, maybe 8,900? Yeah, I do think so here. I mean, we did say yesterday that if Bitcoin breaks back down below 9,300, then I'd be looking for extension to 9,000. And I don't really have anything to add on to that as far as short term goes. The only thing that I have to add on to that is that sort of a read on this price action would be nullified if Bitcoin goes back above this pivot right here and closes at least a 2-hour or a 4-hour preferred above about 92.50. If that can happen, then yeah, I would, I wouldn't be looking for that move down to 8,900 or 9,000. I'd be looking for, I don't really have a target if that were to happen. I just know that the downside is not what I want to trade at that point. I'd probably just wait and watch for a little bit of time if that actually did happen, because for right now, the ranges are so tight, and it's very, very difficult to kind of fit in a trade in that region. At least for myself, some other people out there are going to be more cavalier, more aggressive with it, and more power to you. I support you in your life's endeavors, of course. And that's really all that I have to say. I think that's maybe even a good place to leave this one off. Again, 8,900 to the downside on a 12-hour or daily looks good for an actual constituted breakout out of this formation. But while I do think Bitcoin does head back down to around 9,000 and test around there, do we actually break it over the weekend? I would say unlikely. But then again, that is in line with the trend. So I really want to see how the weeklies close out for CMEs today, and then come back after that, and then a little bit nullified, maybe go back into what's called neutrality as far as my own opinion goes on this. If Bitcoin hits back above 92.50. Now, I need to be very direct in saying this. I'm not trading this right now. I've been playing some option spreads here and there, but I'm not trading spot against this. I'm not trading futures against this. I don't like trading these ranges. I'm not very good at trading these ranges. And as you can see, it's a lot of chops. So you got to be very, 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 very sophisticated with how you kind of manage these trades in a region like this, because it does start to get into a zone where it's like, is the risk worth the reward? And for myself, I've learned in my career that this sort of trading right here is not for me. Or at least if I am going to trade it, I only trade options. So that's one of my trading rules, as someone has asked before. Which right now is very much appropriate. Anyways, what else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I've started a new channel for like mindset. It's obviously gonna be based a lot in my experiences with trading, because that's where I learned a lot. As it's kind of like thrust in front of my face. But overall, the channel is not like a trading channel. So if you do want to check it out, I will be uploading videos to that probably in the next month or so. But I did want to give an update on that, because I have been talking about it in the past, and yes, it's still very much in the works. Just getting around to recording all the videos and everything, and then I'll start making them public. In like a month. Other than that, I think this is the time where I get to wish you the best, and the happiest. And until next time, take care.